So before we move on to logical coordinates, I just wanted to share this program with you guys because I think it'll help you later on with exercise 1.2 in the book, where you're going to have to draw a checkerboard, but with little designs in it, inside of it. So this is basically, I took the checker method from section 1.2. That's on page 8, and put it inside of a put it inside of a Canvas class, and so I'm using the basic idea that we used with red rect, where we have a frame that we set up with the window listener, and we add in a canvas, okay, and inside the canvas we have a paint method. So one thing that I did that was different was I took this where it says dimension and getting the max x and max y, those calculations, I put into this init graphics method, which you're going to see later on in the triangles example. So this is so I pulled out this method. I'm still calling it from inside Paint because every time I resize the window, I want to recalculate these guys, and so this will make sure that every time I paint, I'm recalculating. So even if I change the window size, then all these variables will change accordingly. So let's see. So max x and max y we're familiar with, right? Max x is d width minus 1. Max y is d height minus 1. This min max x, the idea here is I want my checkerboard to be in the shape of a square. So I want to take, so for this canvas is a 16 by 12, okay? So the biggest square I can draw inside this rectangle is a 12 by 12, right? So that means that I want to have my so this goes from 0 to 11, right? So I want my square to go from 0 to 11 and 0 to 11. I want it to be even though it's going to start, I want it to start over a little bit, but so I'm taking the minimum of those two maxes, right? So the minimum, so this would be a max x of 15 and a max y of 12. I'm sorry, max y of 11. I'm taking the 11, so I can draw a square in here. Okay, and then so that's what this does, right? It takes the minimum of max x and max y, and then to get my center, because I want to center the whole big square, I'm going to take max x divided by 2 for the x coordinate and max y divided by 2 for the y coordinate. Okay, so that'll put me well, 15 divided by 2 is not exact, right, but that's going to put me about in the center. Okay, and it's integer division, so it's going to be 15 divided by 2 is going to be the 7, right? Okay, so that 7 for the x, and what is it? 11 divided by 2 is going to give me 5 for the y, right? So I get that, and then I have my center points. Then I'm going to subtract the width of the square divided by 2 from whatever the center point is. So that way, if the because it's a rectangular canvas, this will make sure that when I start wherever my center is, my square will start, I'll start halfway to the left of center and halfway above y center. And then let's see, I'm going to stick in. So this gives me my x position, my y position, right? My x and my y, and n is going to be my number of squares, and w is going to be the size of my squares. So I'm going to, if I have a checkerboard 8 by 8, then I want the size of my squares to be min max y, which is the square side, right, divided by 8. I want that to be my w. All right, and then loop through, and so this is typical if you want to, draw anything in the shape of an array, with rows and columns. What we have here is I is basically counting the columns, right? Because we're starting with I at 0, so we're going to start at x, which is my leftmost position here, and we're saying x plus I, right? So when I starts out at 0, it starts at x. I times w times the width of the column, right? Basically, and so that gives us our starting point. And so this counts the columns, and this counts the rows. Y plus j times w, right? And then WW is the size of the rectangle. So let me just run it and show you. There it is, and we can resize, and it gets bigger. And you see how it's the big square is centered in the rectangle. And then the other thing I did was, because they mentioned this in the book too, that there's a difference between fill rect and draw rect. Notice how our squares for the fill rect are W size WW. For the draw rect, we want to do W minus 1, W minus 1. So let me just show you that one. Oh. So I'm just commenting out the fill rect stuff, and I'm going to uncomment the draw rect stuff. I changed the colors to be yellow and black instead of gray, light gray and dark gray, because I think that makes it easier to see what's happening here. So I'm going to save this and run it, and there you can see the rectangles. So the drawn rectangles. So yeah, I'll pass on this code so you can look at it more on your own in depth. But hopefully that'll be some help when you get to the exercise on drawing lots of squares.